Back here on SportsLine, switching gears now, talking a little NHL action. Earlier in the month, the Predators held their development camp. Jon Burton was over there and sat down with new Predators coach Peter Laviolette, taking over after 15 years of the franchise under the tutelage of Barry Trotz as the head coach, making great strides both in the community and around the National Hockey League. Now this team changes pace a little bit, becoming a more offensive team. They're going to want to attack more. They're going to want to move in different directions. We've seen a lot of that in just their free agency pickups this summer. Very offensive-minded pickups by David Poile and Peter Laviolette. Jon Burton sat down the new Predators coach Peter Laviolette a short time ago.
Well, first of all, Coach, welcome to Nashville. Welcome to the Predators. How exciting of an opportunity is this for you?
Well, I mean, we're really excited. It's a great spot for me and my family, and certainly from a coaching point of view, we come into an organization that has a great track record and just a class organization. So we're excited to be here. It's a great opportunity to work with some great players, and I think just this is kind of the start of it. We're here, development camp, training camp was right around the corner, and I think we're really excited to get going.
Yeah, what's it like to see these young players come in and you know they're working so hard, they want to impress you, they want to impress the scouts, the rest of the staff. What's it like to see these young guys come in and work?
Well, for me, it's really important. You know, from our organization, it's important. For me personally, it's important because there's a lot of guys that I haven't seen on the ice before. Even some of the players that played here last year in Nashville, I've watched some tape, but this is my first chance to, you know, to see them live and to get to meet them face to face. And you know, you can gain a lot of information from a development camp, and I think from the players' point of view, they can gain a lot as well. They're young players who are trying to start their careers towards the National Hockey League. This is an opportunity where they get to come in and learn from great coaches, great trainers, medical guys, speakers that come and speak to them. There's so many positives for them where they can help. They can help these young players to learn to become better pros and prepare them for what's ahead. So it's a tremendous opportunity for them. So I think it's a win-win for both the player and the organization.
When it came to your attention that the Predators were interested in your services, what was it that attracted you about this organization?
Well, I got a chance to work with David Poile through the Olympic team and got to know him a little bit, and certainly I think that relationship from a general manager to a coach is always a positive. There's some players here, they just missed the playoffs. There's certainly some good pieces in place, and I know they haven't been in the playoffs in a couple of years, but I don't feel like they're that far off, so that's a great opportunity for a coach to come in and try and do whatever you can do to help them get back into the playoffs and compete for the Stanley Cup, and that certainly is the goal. Working with some of the players that are here as well. So my wife and I spent 5 years in Raleigh, North Carolina, coaching the Carolina Hurricanes. We're familiar with the market, the type of market that's here, the people, the fans, and we really enjoyed our time there. I'm sure we're going to enjoy our time here in Nashville as well.
Yeah, you led the Hurricanes to a Stanley Cup Finals appearance, had some success in Philadelphia. In your mind, is there a common denominator that separates these teams that can make that Stanley Cup run to teams like the Predators that are having trouble getting into the playoffs at this point?
Well, you know, there's nothing guaranteed in the summer when you put your team together, and I've seen too many times where in the September or October, and they go picking who's going to be in the finals and who the favorites are, that those teams either don't make the playoffs or they lose in the first round. And I've seen lots of times where a team's been picked 27th or 28th in the standings and they go on to win a Stanley Cup. So for me, it's always about what you build in the locker room, the players and the team, and the momentum, the chemistry and the momentum that you can build through the course of the season. And it doesn't always have to be riding a high. I think sometimes there's peaks and valleys, and how you grow from them and how you play for each other and how you count on each other and rely on each other as a team, and you build something special inside the locker room. I think anything's possible at that point. So, you know, I'm looking, like I said before, I'm looking forward to getting going. Training camp will be really the first time to get in there and start working with the players and implement a system and start that process that you just talked about. And, you know, I think there's a good feeling here, and I'm excited about that.
You inherit a roster, obviously, with a lot of talent. Shea Weber, arguably the best defenseman in the world. Pecorine, arguably the best goaltender in the world. The problem the last couple of years for the Predators seemingly hasn't been defense. It's been offensive production. And that seems to be a big reason why you're here. Do you feel there's enough talent on this roster to get more offensive production and put more pucks in the net?
Well, certainly that's the hope going into the season, is that you know, we brought in some players that we think that can help us. We're counting on the development of our young players to also increase production. I think sometimes a change in a message or a different direction, a different voice on thoughts on a game can help as well. So you know, that again, that'll come, I think, when training camp starts, and the messaging that you send to the players on how we want to play the game, the repetition of the drills that we do in practice to try and establish that offensive attack or that offensive identity. It can't be the only focus. We still have to play good defense, and you know, we have to make sure that we're ready to play the game at both ends of the ice, but certainly we'll put an emphasis on offense.
What about the opportunity to work with a guy like Shea Weber, you know, the captain, a well-respected leader? How much does that make your job as a coach a little bit easier, knowing you have a guy like that in the dressing room? Certainly,
Shea's presence in the locker room and on the ice, I think, is an advantage for a coach, for a new coach, and for an organization. You know, I've had some conversations with Shea a couple times. I'm really looking forward to working with him. He's established himself as one of the top defensemen in the league, and you know, it'll be to have his presence and leadership in the locker room certainly is something that I'm looking forward to having to my advantage and working with in the future.
Obviously, you don't have success without good goaltending, and as we said, you inherit a guy like Pecorine.
Yeah.
Again, that's got to be a luxury for a coach.
Yeah, I got to spend some time with Pekko over at the World Championships. We're in the same hotel. We actually, our teams played against each other once, and you know, he ended up getting the goaltender of the tournament over there. He had just a terrific run over there. He coming off the surgery and getting a chance to get back at the end of the season, go over there and play, voted best in tournament. You know, that's a real positive for him to leave the end of the season after a tough year and get back on track. For our club, it means a lot. You know, you can't. It's difficult to find success. In the National Hockey League without the most important position being dialed in, and when an injury pops up like that, you know, you try to do what you can, but and Carter Hutton did a terrific job, but you know, Peck is the guy that is really the anchor back there. To have him back healthy will mean a lot for our team in the coming year.
Unfortunately, you're going to be without another leader, Mike Fisher, for a while with the Achilles, and certainly that's not great news. But do you kind of see the glasses kind of half full, or some of these other young forwards have a chance now to step up and show that, you know, they're NHL ready?
Yeah. I thought Mike put it positive when I was talking to him, but that's really positive to look at it as half full. I don't quite see it as the glass is half full. It's a really tough loss for our club. You're talking about one of our top forwards. You're talking about one of our leaders, a guy that plays the game the way it should be played every night. So that makes it a little bit difficult. What comes with that is opportunity, and for those young players to have a chance to step in. And again, that's what training camp will be for. We've got, you know, we've got a half a dozen forwards that we could look at. Even a couple of players that you notice out here. There's a half a dozen forwards or so that you could look at as camp approaches and as we go through camp to see who wants to take that spot. So there is an opportunity there. We wish Mike a quick recovery and get him back in our lineup as soon as we can, but he's real positive. I've had a few conversations with him, and he'll be back soon enough.
Peter, so much has been made of your coaching style as it pertains to players. How would you describe your coaching style?
I'm not sure how to take that. Is that a good or a bad? So, you know, I enjoy what I do. I like working with the players and establishing a relationship with them, trying to get the most out of a team, trying to get the most out of players. Everything that I've heard about the players in the room here, and I haven't had that opportunity yet, really, but everything that I've heard is that they're a terrific group of men. And that's exciting for me. You walk into a locker room that's got a good leadership group and good character. Only missed the playoffs by a few points. The challenge is, like I said earlier, to get back into the playoffs. I'm really excited to work with these guys.
The Predator fans, they're a very loyal fan base, and you're going to find that out later on this fall. You know, they pack this arena pretty much every home game, but they're growing a little bit frustrated. They want to see this team get back into the playoffs and make a serious run at the Stanley Cup. What would be your message to the fans?
Yeah, well, certainly, first of all, that we appreciate their support, and winning the Stanley Cup isn't an easy thing, I can tell you that. I've been in a market like this before in Raleigh, and I certainly know that the fans are passionate. They care about their team, they care about their players, they want to find success, and they support their team. And for that, I'm appreciative, the organization's appreciative, the players are appreciative. We're going to work our tails off to do the best we can. Anybody can sit in front of a camera in June and promise something that they really can't deliver in June. But what I can tell you is that we're going to work hard. We're going to try and put in an identity that the fans are going to like watching the way we play. We expect that to lead to results. We expect to get back into the playoffs, and I can tell you from there, if you're in, anything can happen, and I know that from experience. So that's the goal that we have, and you know, we ask for their continued support. I think that's first and foremost. We're going to do our work, and we appreciate them coming to support us.